do it.
Don't do it.
No.
Everybody's
Ivan.
asking. You're the only one.
No.
saying-
Carlos.
Who said Carlos?
Luke.
What's up, Luke? What's up?
Are you gonna put this on Instagram?
I don't know. I haven't decided. It depends.
No, because if you are, I'm probably gonna want to go do my hair. So
Hi, Lily.
Just put a hat on, like. Oh no, Drew didn't do that.
My FC sketch hat here though.
Oh my goodness. So just welcome to Lily. Lily, you work with Thoughts, right? With Wuilito? I'm assuming.
What?
You work with Wuilito?
Yes.
Nice. There's a few guys jumping in. Let's see. We have Blasky.
Abra.
Abra's up. But that one, he's just on the low.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
All right, so we'll get started. So I was hoping Blasky's was in, but man, I'm gonna put him on the spot without even being here. So, I don't know who he knows that. Hold up, let me actually. All right. So I don't know who he knows that knows Lovren. Raise your hand if you know who Lovren is. Lovren is the Liverpool defender. He's Croatian. So he knows someone that knows him, and he can get So last preseason, because the Red Sox and Liverpool had the same owner, Lovren sent Blaskic. He sent Blaskic 3 tickets to one of the games. So and you have to raise your hand. I'll pick the players that raised the hand first. Now Liam wants to show his face. Yeah. Whoever raised their hand, better put your hand down. I'm going to ask a question. If you can tell me the last 5 articles, the protagonist and the guest speaker, all 5, then I'll have Blaskic get you some tickets for whenever Liverpool comes to Boston again. Yeah, it's tough for the people who weren't around.
I went last year.
So raise your hand if you remember. Wow. Can you at least give me the characters from the articles? It's only 5 of them, guys. Oh, Harry, you're going to go cheat now. I can see you.
So we just have to name.
No, I'm getting my notes. I have the player written down.
I'll give you guys one. I'm going to put my timer on. I'm going to give you guys 1 minute.
Just the players?
The players who the article was about.
Jurgen Klopp, Trent, Marcelo.
Oh yeah, one of them was a coach. So, and you don't have. I mean, this week's you don't have to really like. If you don't know this week's, then you should just leave the Zoom.
I can't think of the 5th.
You guys got 40 seconds.
I have all the like article people.
Okay, so
And I have some of the guests.
who said? Okay, so Kai raised his hand first, then Trevor, and then Harry. So we'll go in that order. Okay, so I'm gonna unmute you. Kai, you're gonna go first.
Is it
Oh my god.
Trent?
Say that again?
Marcelo? Are we doing the people in the article?
Give me the people in the article, and if you remember any of the guests, then even better.
Okay, Trent, Dani Alves, Marcelo, Klopp, and Kevin De Bruyne.
Oh.
You're missing one. Trevor.
Oh,
We'll go Trevor, Harry, and then Miller. Go, Trevor.
Trent, Klopp, Dani Alves, Marcelo, Kevin De Bruyne. Is there more? Di Maria,
Yeah.
Ronaldinho. Did I see that?
Yeah, you got him. Can you tell me some of the guests?
Like Wuilito. Um, oh, I forgot the guys. I don't know. That's all I
Or
can.
tell me who he played for or something about him.
Oh, the guy that played for Leicester, and Celtic.
Okay. Benko?
Yeah. Um. Yeah, that's it. I don't know.
That's it. All right. So you got all the professional players, and you got Wuilito, and you got Benko.
Oh, and the guy that played for Red Bulls. The Red Bulls.
Yep. Do you remember which article he came for?
I think he came for the. Was it the Klopp one?
Nope.
Or
That's
the
fine.
Ronaldinho?
We'll leave it at that. Okay. So we'll leave it.
All right.
If anybody can beat that, then you get the tickets.
Okay.
If you can't, then they'll stay with Trevor. Okay. So I can only give who's up? Harry, Miller, and Raul, because we gotta get started. Okay. Quick, Harry.
Okay. The players, the article people: Jurgen, Trent, Marcelo, De Bruyne, Dani Alves, and Di Maria.
Yeah.
And then, Francesco Di Agostino
Yep.
was the one about Jurgen, and Philip Benkovic was, I think, the one about De Bruyne. I'm not sure. And then Michael Bustamante was the one, I think, Dani Alves.
Mm-hmm.
And Wuilito is the one about Trent.
You're missing two guests.
I don't think I can remember anymore.
All right. Next one, Miller. Do you have more?
I know all the players. I know a couple of the guests, but I follow my man on Instagram.
Who's your man?
The guy who played the
Benkovic.
Oh, Benkovic.
yeah, Benkovic.
Okay.
I don't know.
Can you tell me, you have 30 seconds, Miller. Can you tell me who came for the Kevin De Bruyne article and who came for the Di Maria article?
Oh, okay. Di Maria article was the second week. First week was Blasquez, and he's come every other week. Second week was. Oh, I should.
Time.
No.
Raul, you're the last one. If you can give me all of the guests in order with whatever article they came with, you're taking the tickets.
Okay, so first was Blaskic with Marcelo. Second was Baji with Di Maria. Third was Bustamante with Dani Alves. Fourth was Benkovic with KDB, I think. Next was Frankie with Jurgen. Yeah, Jurgen. And then we have today's with Trent.
Yeah. So Raul was the one who remembered most of the guests and most of the articles. So Raul, we're gonna work on getting you those tickets for whenever they come back. Okay. Everybody else, I'm glad that you remember some of the players. I'll give you the answers. The first week was Di Maria with Blas. Second week was De Bruyne with Dom. Third week was Dani Alves with Bustamante. Fourth week was Ronaldinho with Benko. Fifth week was Frankie D'Agostino with Club. So I hope you guys have taken notes, because these are all things that, guys, we got so much material from all these conversations and what we're gonna get today. And this might be stuff that we could have never gotten in one training session out on the field. All right. So back to today, I think that gave us enough time to get everybody that's gonna be on the call. I want to welcome Wuilito Fernandes. He's one of the one of the players that I played with at UMass Lowell, and he was I think Frankie talked a little bit about that really good season we had, and we were all so happy to see that he was the player that got drafted that year when that season ended. He's a big Liverpool fan, so some of you guys can relate. It's the only thing that I don't like about him. But Dodge, can you give us a 30-second introduction of yourself?
Hello, everyone. Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks. I really appreciate you having me in this call. Thank you, kids. Yeah, just like Carlos said, my name is Wuilito Fernandes. I was born in Cape Verde Island. If you guys don't know where that is, it's an island located in the northwest coast of Africa. And I moved here back in summer 2009. And I didn't know Carlos back then. He was living his own world, you know. Yeah,
I was on my way from Colombia to.
Yes, I moved here back in summer 2009, and yeah, so I went to high school here, finished high school here, and then went to college at UMass Lowell, which is where I actually met Carlos. Well, we play against each other in high school, but I didn't know it was him. He didn't know it was me until like one day we actually were in the car, and then the whole conversation started. So like that's where I met Carlos. Fitz was also like on the call, and then Drea. Yeah.
Thanks, Touch.
Hey,
So
Dre.
yeah, that's a little bit of Touch's background. And I thought it was nice to have him for another Liverpool article. Raise your hand if you before the article you knew who Alexander Arnold was. Raise your hand if you didn't know who Liverpool was. Guess I'm the only one. Yeah, so Liverpool's just been a team that the last couple of years they've just been taking over all of Europe, and they've been really successful. Also within England. So Touch, we'll go right into some of the questions that I had for you that are in comparison to the article. And there's a moment, and the question for the boys this week was, can you find something in the article that you didn't like? And it was difficult for them to find anything specific. One, because a lot of them are Liverpool fans, and two, because it's a really nice story about Arnold's life and how he made his dream come true. So for me, I think it was difficult because he talks about his brothers, and they all have the same dream. And for me, it was painful to be from the perspective of the brothers who didn't get to make it. So he says that because of them, he feels that he was able to get to that stage. Could you tell us about someone, or maybe it's more than one person, who you felt did a sacrifice or made a very important sacrifice in their life for the benefit of your dream to one day become a professional?
Obviously, yeah. So, quick one on the article. It's such a very inspirational article. I really love it. Like I saw it, like when it first came out, I read it. I actually like had chills. Like I felt like crying because, you know, like especially like knowing from like you coming from like a background where you don't have much opportunities. There's like you don't have like people are actually there to push you and kind of guide you through like what you need to do and all that kind of stuff. But there are many people that actually sacrifice, whether like it's time or their money, love, or like stuff like that to kind of like put me in the direction that I need to be to get to where I want to go. But one person that I would like to mention is actually my mom. So she had no idea what soccer meant to me. Like, for example, like I remember when I was a kid, transportation, like for me to go from A to B, I had to wake up like at 5 a.m. to get to practice at 5:30. And there was like no bus around that time for you to actually catch a bus to actually get to practice at 5:30. It was gonna be like a 10 minutes drive, or you just have to run. And at that point, like we didn't have a car, and the bus, like I said, wasn't operating at that time. So what I would do is literally like instead of waking up at 5, I had to wake up like 4:30 a.m. and then I had to run in the dark by myself. I was only like 7, 8 to a whole different town every single day. There are times where like I wake up and all I want to see is cartoons. And I used to actually go and sleep in the living room just because I want to wake up around that time and watch cartoons. And then my mom would literally come and call me every single day, like, "Oh, get up, it's time for you to go to practice." But she had no idea what soccer is, what soccer meant, or anything what soccer meant to me. But she just knew that I wanted to do that. So just the fact that she would literally wake up every single day at 4 o'clock to call me and just be like, "Oh, you have to go to practice." Sometimes I'm lazy, I don't want to go because, I have to run in the dark. I'm only 7, 8 years old. I have to run by myself, risk my life and all that kind of stuff to actually get to where I want to go. So that meant a lot to me. And then when I was 11, she moved to the US. So she moved to the US and I was 11 and we didn't see each other for about like 8 years. We didn't see each other for about 8 years. That's when I actually felt how much she actually meant to me, because I didn't have, when I tell you like anybody, I'm talking about like anybody. I didn't have anybody back home in Cape Verde that could actually tell me, "Wuilito, you need to do this. Wuilito, you need to do that." I didn't have anybody to wake me up for me to go to practice and stuff like that. So we grew apart for about like 8 years. And I never had a plan to go pro, to play at the high level in soccer and stuff like that. I just played to play, just played to have fun. Like that's all you could do. Like go to school, come back, do your homework if you have to, and then play. And then, so 8 years later, I moved to the US. That's when we saw each other again after 8 years and everything. And then it felt like, I felt like I was born again, because everything started again. Like it was her waking me up and stuff like that. And then when you come here, so it was me, her, my grandma living in a 2-bedroom apartment, and we need to pay the rent, we need to pay the bills and stuff like that. But she would not let me work for nothing. Like she literally told me, like, "I didn't bring you here for you to work. If I have to work 10 jobs for me to provide to the family, that's what I would do. But you're here to go to school and play soccer. I know you've always wanted to play soccer. You always loved to play soccer." That's when I felt like if I'm just going to play, then I might just stop. If I'm playing, I'm not having fun, and I'm not playing to actually, like, if I see an opportunity for me to move up and play at the high level, why not? When I have like somebody like my mom who's sacrificing everything to actually like be like, "Okay, you need to do this, you need to do that." So so she would literally tell me like, "Don't work, just go to school, bring me A's, and go to soccer games, score goals, and say that's for me." Mind you, I'll go to the games, but the first game I played, the first game I played here in the US, I actually fractured my foot. The very first game, like I got here on a Friday, and then the following Saturday, like less than a week in the US, I fractured my foot. And that was the first game she saw me playing after like 10 years. And that was the last game she saw me playing until my last game for UMass Lowell.
No way.
Yeah. So she saw me playing 2000. She saw me playing around like 2001, and then didn't see me playing until 2009, which she saw here. And then I fractured my foot, and she said, "I can't do that anymore. Like, I can't see you hurting yourself." So she didn't watch any more games until my senior year at UMass Lowell.
Damn.
So so she's gone above and beyond, like, to do everything that she can to put me in a position to actually like succeeding whatever it is that I put my mind to.
That's good, man. That's good. And I think a common theme in all of the articles that we've read is the fact that none of these players would have made it by themselves. And like when we think of Di Maria and he decided to give up, it was his mom and his teammates who helped him continue to go and push. And we forget that there's going to be times where it's going to be really difficult for us, but having those people around us will push us. And whether it's to become a professional soccer player or whatever other dream you have to be really intentional about the people that are around you, because it's almost like your dream may not only depend on your hard work. Your dream probably depends on the people around you, maybe even more than in yourself. And I think even those days or those years that he wasn't with mom, I think he was able to feel her presence and be motivated by her. I think in the article, obviously his brothers came with him all the time, but I think whenever I imagine that when Alexander Arnold is having a bad day and maybe doesn't want to train, he thinks of his brothers and he says, they would be dying to be on this field training with me. And maybe that triggers something. So being really grateful about what the stage that you're in, that today you get to train, your parents get to take you to practice. And all you have to do is get off the car and go off. Being aware of that, and I think it gives you a different perspective, and I think it will help you work harder and value more of the privilege that you guys have. So that was a really good answer, Touch. Many times we look for big mentors or a big sacrifice, but man, just waking you up at 4 a.m., that's probably the most beautiful sacrifice you could have done. So just tying up from that question and just flipping it a little. Can you think of a time where you were someone who sacrificed something for somebody else? So now maybe you are Arnold's brother who had to put some sort of want aside and give somebody else an opportunity. I know you, for example, Stevie, that's your son. Perhaps a situation with that, or with a friend where you've been the one who's made this sacrifice.
Yeah. Well, if I'm talking about my son, because you know how I had him during my senior year in college, right? I had him in February 2016. That was during my last 2 semesters in college.
So
by the way,
before you enter your final season of college,
before I enter my final season of college.
Okay.
Right. So I'm actually gonna share something very personal with you guys, especially with my former teammates Carlos and Fitz. I wasn't gonna go back for my last year in school.
I remember you text me.
Yeah, so I was not gonna go back because the whole thing is like there's like that social pressure. The whole idea of like, okay, when you have a kid, your life is gonna change completely. That's true, but also it's like how you actually like let it change you that actually counts. If I just be like, oh, I'm about to have a kid, I have to drop everything and do and work, for example. Like I have to drop everything and work so I can provide for my kid. But at the same time, I can't be the best father that I can be if I'm not the best self that I can possibly be. You know, so I'm like, okay, I want to be the best father I can be. I want to be there for Steven. I want to have what he will need as he grows. That means I have to figure it out. So I spoke to my coach and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna come back. I don't think I'm gonna come back. And then once again, my mom stepped up. She's like, don't worry about. This time it was my mom, my aunt, my sister. So I have a very supportive family. So they were all behind me when all these things happened. They were like, don't worry about working and stuff like that. You have literally like 1 semester left, which were like 6 credits, two classes. That's all I needed to graduate. And they were like, don't drop out. Don't stop going to school just because you have to work and provide for your kid. He's only 1 month old. He's not even going to remember any of those things. And you can go to school, finish your season, and then get your degree. And now you can actually like be able to work a better job that you can actually provide for him. So then the whole idea of playing, because I knew I was actually getting closer and closer to actually like play professionally and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, I've dealt with so many things. I've came a long way. Why giving up now because of my son? I know he's going to be a priority, but I have to prioritize myself at this right moment for me to actually like have the best that I can have for him. That's when I was like, okay, what if my son actually grows up and actually fall in love with the soccer, wants to become a professional, wants to play soccer and stuff like that, wouldn't it be better for me to actually like try to chase my dream, become a professional, and then now I can actually share that experience with him? That's when I started like asking myself those questions, to the point that I came to the conclusion that I'm like, okay, I have to sacrifice everything that I can and then do what it is that I need to do. So that's when I'm like, you know what, I'm going to find a part-time job. For the first time, I actually found a part-time job, and I had to fight with my mom for me to actually do that. So I found a part-time job to kind of like provide whatever it is that I have to provide for my kid, and then just, you know what, have few more months to go, and then it's the end of it. So yeah, that's definitely like
That's good.
the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, and I think sometimes, and we have different upbringings, and I think we were raised that the moment that there's a child, our life is completely dependent on them, and we feel that we have to let everything go for them. But from what I'm hearing is that it's actually an ironic sacrifice that you made, because the regular sacrifice would have been, I'm gonna leave everything. But the actual sacrifice that you made was, I'm gonna move away from the common way that I know what upbringings are, and I'm gonna sacrifice that ideology and focus on soccer, because at the end that could benefit my son. And understanding, sometimes we're very impulsive, and we see sacrifice as something that has to be very painful. But perhaps if you become a better version of yourself by focusing on yourself, that might be the sacrifice that the person that's coming up after you needs. So I think that's a really good way to go about that answer, because I think every time we see that, it's like, what did I have to let go? What did I have to let go to sacrifice? But no, you actually, what did I have to take on and not let go of in order to be a better father? So I think that was a beautiful way to just go in a different channel for when you have to make a sacrifice. And I think many of us have siblings, and whether we're the older or the younger one, we have to be very intentional about what sacrifices may my sibling need me to do, or how do I progress in a way that I'm a good role model. And maybe I don't love math, but I'm going to exceed in math, because this might be a subject that my brother becomes the next engineer. So it might not be something that correlates with you, but just going about it in a way that there's always somebody looking for you to be an inspiration. And I think it's really nice when we see Alexander Arnold, he's lifting the trophy and his brother is crying next to him, holding the trophy with him. And I think that's a picture that I get. One day Stevie, whatever it is that he does, and whether it's a Champions League or whether he gets his first job or he gets into college, he's going to be able to hug his dad and thank him for not giving up. So that's something that really we'll be able to take on, and not only on the field, but everywhere else in our lives. Right into the next question, Taj. So there was, I'm sure if you guys follow Liverpool, you know that they were in the final 2 years ago against Real Madrid, and they lost. And then a year later, they got back into it. And Alexander says that at the moment he was very upset, but he feels that without that loss against Real Madrid and seeing the maturity that they had, it wouldn't have allowed them to be the team that they were the next season in England and go on and win the Champions League. So can you tell us of a situation in which you felt that you failed or you lost and you got the opportunity to face it again? How did you approach it the second time around?
Yeah, I would definitely talk about, you know, how I've dealt with so many injuries over time. Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna stop mentioning them because the kids are gonna get scared. But yeah, so actually, so I fractured both feet. I've torn my meniscus 3 times, had 2 surgeries on my knees. I've fractured my clavicle. It's like, and you spraining ankles is something that you're gonna get. It's gonna happen to you like every year, basically. like I've dealt with so many injuries, and every single time, like before, I used to think like I'll just, because I really love working out. Like working out, when I'm saying working out, I'm talking like working and working and working, because one thing I pride myself on is I love to win, but I also know how to accept the loss. But what you want to do when the mentality that I have every single time I go to training or point or games and stuff like that, I want to make sure every second I'm winning something. Okay, so I'm not focusing on the 90 minutes and stuff like that. I'm focusing on that second that's going to add up to that 90 minutes. For example, like you have a 50-50 ball. I want to make sure I win that 50-50 ball. There's an air ball. I want to make sure I win that air ball, because that final result that you see is not guaranteed. You can't control that, okay? So you can't control whether the game ends 3-1 or 2-2 or 4-0, 1-0. But you can control whether you win a 50-50 ball or you win a hair ball, or you win a foot race and stuff like that. So I try to make sure I prepare myself for moments like that, because that's actually like what fuels me. If right now I go on a foot race and I actually beat you on that foot race, I'm pumped. I'm ready. Like I'm ready and stuff like that. And to the point that it's actually like add up to like things like, for example, like I go back to college. You remember like my first game for the school, which was your first game.
First game.
My first game was actually your last game, your first year with the school, because that's when you got hurt.
Yeah.
Okay, so I went back home to Cape Verde back like in July, and I fractured my foot. It was July 27. I fractured my foot, and I was supposed to return to school for preseason August 10th. So basically like 2 weeks later, just over 2 weeks later. And then the first game was like the 23rd of August. Because remembering that I didn't play my freshman year, my sophomore year, I was like, I'm not going to sit again. I didn't play my whole freshman year. And I told myself, I'm not going to sit again. And now I'm getting ready for preseason, and all of a sudden I fracture my foot. I fracture my foot, and I'm like, okay, I can't believe I have to stay at school again another year and not play. So I went to the doctor and everything. They're like, oh, the blood is not circulating, the bones are not growing. We need to do a screw surgery.
I remember that actually.
Yeah. So, and then they scheduled, it was a Wednesday, and then they scheduled an appointment for Friday for me to get my surgery. And I went to that appointment, and I was so optimistic that I didn't have to do a surgery, to the point that I literally told the doctor, like, no disrespect to you, but I don't think I should get a surgery.
You told the doctor what was gonna happen.
Huh?
You told the doctor what was gonna happen?
Yeah. Because I had that feeling. I'm like, because the thing, like, I went there on Wednesday and they did the X-ray and all that kind of stuff. They see the picture, they see like there's nothing there. Like you need something to attach your bones together. And that's when I went there 48 hours later, and I told him like, no disrespect to you, but I don't think I need a surgery. Is it okay if I do another MRI, X-ray, whatever? And then he's like, why do you want to do that? I'm like, because I feel like I don't need it. He did an X-ray. The result came out, and he's like, what did you do? I'm like, I don't know. I just had a good feeling about today. And he's like, it's crazy how 48 hours ago, you had no blood circulating around here. You had no bones, and now you need this much to close. And then I'm like, yeah, so what's the next step? He's like, you can do the screw surgery, or you can just put a boot on and then wait and see how you recover. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna put a boot on, because what he told me, that was in August. So what he told me, he's like, okay, if you do the screw surgery, you're gonna have to be away for 3 months, and then you start your rehab.
Yeah.
So that's basically like a whole season. Yeah. And I already told myself I'm not gonna sit out again. I already told myself, like, I'm not gonna sit. I sat out last year. I'm not gonna sit out this year. So I was destined to do whatever it is that it takes for me to play that year. So that's another sacrifice that I had to make. And I'm like, okay, will I be able to go through this pain to the point that I'm actually gonna recover and play the whole season? And he's like, I don't know. That all depends on your body. But it looks like your body heals pretty fast. So you want to take a risk, you can go ahead. So I was like, okay, cool. So I was supposed to be out for 3 to 4 months, and I came back. And I actually told my coaches, I'm like, I want to play the first home game that we'll have on September 12th. Until this day, I still remember that. I still remember that date. I told him I want to play the first home game we're gonna have, which is gonna be September 12th. He's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yes. Whatever it is that I have to do, I'll do it to get there." So I put the cast on. I'm not telling you guys this thing to do it because it's a case by case thing. Okay, what works for me might not work for you. So I put the boots on every single day, every single night. I remove the boots and I try to do something. Like I try to get the band and just do the elastic band, just try to do something. I try to kind of like walk on top of it, try to juggle the ball a little bit. It will hurt so much. But I wanted to play. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to have to get my foot to feel that pain so I can actually see if I'm ready to go. So I did all that. And then a week before the day I said I was gonna play, I went to the doctor. The doctor was like, "Oh, you actually clear." So they cleared me 7 weeks later instead of like 3 to 4 months and stuff like. So I told the coaches that I want to play the first home game we're gonna have, and they agreed to it. And I was sitting on the bench and everything. You remember that day, Carlos?
You were losing.
And,
2-0.
yeah, we were losing 2-0. And then all of a sudden, coach looked at me. He's like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" I'm like, "I'm sure, and I'll take full responsibility for it. You don't have to feel bad," and stuff like that. And he's like, "Okay." So about like 10 minutes before the end of the first half, he called me. He's like, "I'm gonna put you on, but be careful, please." So I got on, and I've never been so scared. Like I've never been so scared. Mind you, like I don't get scared easily. Like I've never been so scared. So I got on the field and I was avoiding every single thing. If I wasn't alone, if I was near someone, I was avoiding like every sort of contact that I could possibly go to, like going up for a hair ball, I won't go and stuff like that until there was a ball the guy miskicked the ball, and the ball was in between a center back and me, the last man and me. So I'm like, okay, this is an opportunity. If I win that ball, it's going to be me and the goalie. And I'm like, but I can't go into a 50-50 ball because every single time I go into a 50-50 ball, I feel that shock. It hurts. And I literally told myself, you know what? I'm going. So I went in for that 50-50 ball. That guy came in so hard. I went in so hard. I fell, okay? I fell because like I didn't have the strength to actually stay up. But just because I took the initiative to just go in hard, no matter what happens, that's when I felt like I was ready to go. And then 30 seconds before the end of the first half, I scored. I
remember that.
And then now we're down 1-0. And then in the second half, I end up playing 10 minutes in the first half and then the whole 45 minutes in the second half. And then in the second half, I went in and I assisted Homero. You remember that one? I assisted Homero, and then we tied the game 2-2.
Yep.
But unfortunately, we end up losing that game 3-2 in the last second off a free kick or something like that.
Yeah, and I mean, if we have any writers in here, anybody that loves writing, Dutch is a storyteller, and this is an example of what you need if you're asked to write a paper. The amount of detail. He remembered it was Wednesday when he went to see the doctor. You imagine
the day and time, how the weather was, and everything.
The weather was. I remember that story probably because he told it to me the whole thing before, and I remember and when he says it works different for other people. He's not asking us to go against the doctors. I think at the end of that season we were like, no, it's just like it's black people bones. They're just different. So we don't have any black players here, so you guys are not allowed to do that. But I think the essence of this, is the fact that you had no fear when it came to, you had so many injuries that you weren't willing to lose another game because of an injury. And I think Alexander Arnold had just lost a Champions League final the year before, and it allows you to risk more, to get more creative, to go more boldly into the next situation. And I think whatever decisions you made were because you had gone through so many situations where the injuries had kept you, and it's almost like you lost to this injury, you lost to this injury, you lost to this injury, and now your mentality is like, I'm beating this one. And I think that's kind of when we look at Alexander Arnold, and they got beat against Real Madrid, but now they got the chance to be in this stage again, and he used that mental motivation to be able to implement that into his game. And then, I mean, at the end of the game, they took it. And I mean, he was the one who actually, in the previous game, was creative to make that corner kick happen. So I think it all triggers, and all these bad moments that you experience, it's just part of the journey that it's gonna help you for a magical moment, like for Alexander Arnold or for Touch, who was able to come in and change the game for us. So that was a great story. And again, go ahead.
Just to add something, especially like for you kids, think about something called, if you guys are not aware of it, think about something called PMA. Okay, that stands for positive mental attitude.
You guys better be writing.
PMA. So you can either choose PMA for your life or NMA, negative mental attitude. Okay. So like PMA is when, like, because we're gonna face negative things every single day. You just can't avoid it. Okay. Like, for example, right now a storm might come and you decide how hard that storm will hit you. Okay. You can't avoid the storm, but you can actually tell yourself, okay, this is how hard I want this storm to hit me. Okay, so you want to have a positive mental attitude towards everything, because no matter how negative something is or someone is, there's always some positive within that. You just have to dig and really dig deep for you to find that. Okay, so that's what I was able to do throughout my whole situation. It took time. It's not going to happen overnight, because I remember times where I would get hurt and all I could tell myself is that why is it that happened like this? Every single time I feel ready to take the next step, I get hurt. Every single time I feel ready to take the next step, I get hurt. It got to a point where I have to stop. I'm like, okay, it happened for a reason. This is how I'm going to respond. Okay, so you want to be positive about like everything.
That's good. That's good. And I mean, as athletes, we're gonna face more adversity than we do success. And we talked a little bit about that last week, that we lose more than we win in any sport. So just right into the next question, just so we don't take too much time. This question can probably be answered by a lot of the players, but for you, Taj, I've known you're a very strong Liverpool fan. And I really, I mean, I dislike Liverpool because I follow City, but I really respect all the teams that are able to be consistent for long periods of time. And you've been able to follow Liverpool even when they weren't successful. And I do think that if I got the chance to go watch a game in Europe, I'd probably pick Anfield because of the atmosphere, regardless of where else I could go. So can you just tell us why you love Liverpool so much? What about it made you fall in love with them?
Obviously, yeah. So if maybe some of you guys don't know, but I've never seen a Liverpool winning a league title. Never. I've never seen a Liverpool winning a league title. I saw Chelsea coming from like 50 years without winning anything. They won like multiples. I saw Leicester coming from like Division 2, 3, and then 2-3 years in the league, they won the title. And now you're talking about Liverpool, which is like historically one of the best teams in Europe, one of the best team in the world, like arguably the top team in actually like in England. And you as a fan, you've never seen the team winning the league. It hurts. It's painful. And now we have COVID. Now we have COVID going on. We might not even win it, you know. But I'm very optimistic about it. But what I love about Liverpool, right? Besides the fact that I've never seen a team win a league. I saw them winning like FA Cup. I saw them winning Champions League. I even cried in 2005. I literally cried. The moment we scored 3 goals, I cried. And so I never saw them winning a league. But what I find in Liverpool is that everyday thing, that every practice that I see, that every game that I watch. Like I said, like regardless of like the end result, I'm focusing in that moment, like the happiness they provide to you in that moment. So that's what I enjoy the most about Liverpool and stuff like that. And you can go ahead and talk about like the players that have passed by Liverpool. Like I'll talk to you, for example, like Steven Gerrard, who's my idol, my favorite player, which is why I name my son Steven. So like I love the guy. Like I never got really close to him. I've seen him a few times, like when they came here and stuff like that, play against AC Milan and teams like that. But just like what they can do for you without them even knowing, it's just like amazing. Like now to kind of like change the topic a little bit. You go back to, for example, if you guys are watching like The Last Dance by Michael Jordan and everything. Like Michael Jordan will want to play every single game simply because the idea that he had in his mind was there is someone in the stand that came here because of me. There's someone in the stand that has never seen me playing today. I'm going to play for that person. Okay, so that's the feeling that I got from like Steven Gerrard from Liverpool. It's like there's somebody right now that are not having the best day and we can provide them for them.
That's
so
good.
Like just watching them, like, and how they deal with the players, how they manage players, how they keep everybody engaged, especially like, for example, right now, Klopp, the coach, who's like, you have such a great team that you feel like that you completely ignore the fact that you want to be in the starting 11. You know what I mean? Like, because everybody's together as a family. They're so glued together that whether I'm starting or I'm not starting, I'm going to be here for the team. I'm going to sacrifice everything that I can on my end for the greater good of the team. So I get that feeling a lot when I watch Liverpool playing, when I see like how the relationship that coach has with the players, how like at the end of the game, he's literally hugging everybody.
Yeah.
He has the biggest smile on his face. He's appreciating the fans. And then you go to like the anthem, You'll Never Walk Alone. Like I sing that anthem every single day before the game. Like I'm literally in my house screaming every single day after the game. And now my girl is like, this kid is crazy. She's like, this kid is crazy. Why do you do that every single day? I'm like, listen, it's gonna be another great day.
And it's a passion that a group of people have implemented into so many lives. And I think as a team, we should long to have that sort of atmosphere. I think when you think about that Liverpool last year when they came back from being down 3-0 against Barcelona, and in that game, Salah was injured. I don't know who else they were missing, but to not have basically your top players and to be playing against Messi, Suarez, and a stacked Barcelona team, I think there's something beyond talent that they portray and they teach us that lives within the stands. And I think if every day, like Dutch said, and play for that person that maybe will never see you play again or has never gotten the opportunity to play soccer, play for your family that maybe they're having a bad day and the only thing that they're looking forward to is taking you to a soccer game and enjoying seeing their son or daughter play on the field. That completely changes the outcome of your performance, and it doesn't matter if you make technical mistakes, because that's going to happen, but the fact that they went up against the best player in the world, and one of the best teams in the world with injuries, and come back, like it wasn't like a 1-0, it was 4-0 that they had to score, and they went about it with their fans. I think when you go even to practice and to games, know that cherish your family, cherish your teammates, cherish that every single moment you have an opportunity to become better and make somebody else happy. Because if your teammate was having a bad day, the way you bring your energy into practice can change it. If I'm having a bad day as a coach and you just come and you're working your butt off, you inspire me to enjoy my profession even more. So just having that perception, I think, of Liverpool, their mentality and what they bring to the game, aside from talent, I think is what takes them to the next level. All right, last two question, Touch. We got to move quick because we only got like 5 more minutes. And what's the most magical moment of your career? I think probably for Alexander, it might be that comeback or winning the title. What's that one moment that you were like, man, you can't tell me the whole story when you were born up until that moment, though. You got to tell me that moment.
No.
and that you felt that it was like, man, this is why I play this sport. Go ahead.
I'll definitely say my senior year.
Why?
My senior year. Yeah.
Of high school or college?
Yeah, college. My senior year in college. The last game we played, which we had to, it was either we win the title, or we tie or lose, and we lose the title. So it was basically like a death or life situation.
We couldn't even tie? We couldn't even tie, actually. That's true.
If we tie, Albany wins, we're done. And that's exactly what happened.
Damn.
You know, and so we end up winning that game. And that was the last game of the season. It's my senior night. It's the last game I will ever play for that school. In front of the home crowd. Like, all the emotion that's going on. Like, now I have my mom watching me playing after she said that she will never watch me play again because she can't stand seeing me getting hurt. Now I have my son who's just born like months ago, all there. Like, my grandma, my best friend, literally like everybody was there. You know, like everybody was there. I'm just like,
that's crazy.
This is crazy. Like, I cried moments before the game. I cried moments before the game. My mom was the one that came up to me, was just like, just focus on the game and stuff like that. But I don't think anybody saw me crying. But I had to go all the way in the corner, and then so they just came up to me.
But yeah, no, I think it was a special moment, and I had the privilege to be part of it. And I think we're not aware. Like, I wasn't aware that your mom, there was a special moment for her in there, and all of the surroundings that add to yourself, and then the chemistry that we had as a team. And we don't know when we're gonna find that moment of magic. And after being through so many injuries, it's almost, I think the season before, we wouldn't, if somebody told us that was gonna happen, we would say, I mean, we're gonna try, but it doesn't seem likely.
Yeah.
So I think just being open that soccer itself is going to bring you situations that is going to reward you for your hard work. And it may not just be soccer, it may be school, it may be your discipline, and being a good brother, being a good friend, being a good player. Like, you don't know what coach you're going to run into that's going to connect you to the next program that might get you to the next level, or the next schoolmate who's going to connect you to someone who's going to help you go into an industry that you really want to go into. So just always, like Touch has saying this entire time, just be positive through the difficult times. Cherish the people that have made sacrifice. Make sacrifices for others, because you can make somebody else's dream come true. And Touch, this is the last one. I usually ask this to everybody. If you could give one piece of advice to 13-year-old Wuilito Fernandes today, what would you tell him?
Learn everything that you need to learn about your mind and body. Knows why your mind works the way it works, why your body works the way it works. So that way you know how to actually carry on to that. Because I feel like if I was, with the mentality that I have now, if I had this mentality when I was 13, I wouldn't have dealt with so many injuries that I've dealt with. You know, because I never really took a good care of my body, because I didn't know what my body was. Like, I didn't know why I have this muscle, what does this muscle do, and stuff like that. And so, you know, like, just being aware of like what your mind and body, everything that you need to know about your mind and body will be awesome for you as an athlete and as a person.
That's so good, especially in this time where that's basically the only thing that we can do because of the situation, and we can't go and train with our players. Like, we can learn a lot of the on-field drills or tactics from coaches, and I think you're stuck at home with your mind and your body, and I think we undervalue the worth of taking an advantage in that area. And I think Kobe Bryant, I know a lot of you guys know Kobe, and I think that's what made him different. I think at age of 13 or 12, he was watching game after game and analyzing the details of the plays. And this is an amazing opportunity for us to educate ourselves in that manner. So I think that's a perfect answer for especially this stage where athletes were stuck in not knowing how to develop. Even for me as a coach, what can I learn from my mind and my body to execute better sessions? Dutch, we're so grateful that you came along. We learned so much from you, man. You always bring such good energy. I miss playing with you. I miss bothering you. I miss you making fun of all the team. We couldn't have gotten anything better in a field session today. This is so valuable. So Dutch, I appreciate that. I hope you stay healthy. And your son also and your girl.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate you, Carlos. Thank you, guys.
Guys, take care. Thank you for hopping on. It took a little bit longer because we're trying to get some more people on at the beginning. I really appreciate you guys jumping onto the call. I miss you guys. I hope we can get on the field soon, but if not, I know that you guys have been learning so much from all of these discussions. Okay, so 6 a.m. Friday, we got our workout. Yeah, Liam, 6 a.m. You don't have it as bad as Wuilito. He had to wake up at 4 and go run.
And I had to run.
And he had to run. So I'll see you guys.
As an 8-year-old.
That's right. I'll see you guys on Friday. Thanks for jumping onto the Zoom, and take care.
Thanks, Carlos.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.